Welcome, Ellie, my good friend. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Chala.
I'm very excited. Okay, I'm going to start the clock and then I'm going to have you pretend that you're meeting me first time as a new prospect who's interested in buying services from you. So, start at the time. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ellie Amasya. I am with Royal LePage for the past 16 years as a realtor. I have been servicing people who come from different countries as families with young children, with older children, and business owners and businessmen who are trying to get their business into Canada, and also students who are coming in to study in Canada. I have been helping those people for the past 16 years to find them housing, and I really enjoy my job, even though it has really weird hours. But I have been loving it and enjoying it so much. And my business has been growing with the background in teaching that I have, which allows me to use that previous experience with the discipline and the methodology that I have used in my teaching skills.
Okay, all right. So, do I have your permission to polish your pitch?
Yes, please.
All right. So typically in any form of marketing, including your elevator pitch, we don't start talking about ourselves. Do you know why?
Why?
Because people care more about themselves than they do about you.
Exactly.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah,
And do
correct.
you know the number one thing that they care about? That 70% of humans will purchase because they have, do you know why they'll buy?
Why?
Because they have a problem.
Because of the problem that you can help them to solve it, I guess. That's what they're looking for, right?
That's why you're so smart. Okay, so let's polish this pitch. And
okay, let's do that.
you talked about a couple of groups, and I understand if you sell to a couple of groups, but my job is people hire me when they want to make more money faster. So what we do is we do the research between all those groups that you talked about, and we're not going to do that in 5 minutes, but I'm just going to ask you to guess right now, which of those three groups has the most expensive problem that you solve? Is it the businessmen, is it the families, or is it the students?
It's the business owners. Obviously, they come in with more investments when you put it into dollar cents, and what they have to move up here as business, that would be much more problematic and much more work for them.
What's the problem you solve exactly for them?
They all require help in steps to creating their business here, right from the first step, having them initiate an accountant, a business lawyer, and before I even find them a place to run their business.
You do
Yeah, I do refer people. So I like to do that in that sense that I come in a package. Like I don't only provide them real estate services. They get to use my professional suppliers along the side that I provide with my business, that I get to meet over the years and introduce people with the right people. As I go along, that helps me a lot, because then I am on the safe side knowing that I have right people directing my business into the right direction, so that my client is safe.
So talk to me about the safety. I was just going to say, what happens if they don't have that kind of, or the right kind of help when they port their business to Canada?
Well, there are lots of made up companies who present themselves very differently than what they are. They can take money from people without offering services, but then getting lost all of a sudden. They disappear on them. They are not legitimate people to receive such money for their services as they offer online or through ads. So I try to place those people with legitimate service providers as lawyers, as accountants, so that they won't be fooled by those people that describe themselves in a different way. Usually those are the people that they come across through
Okay,
internet.
so let's say, and we haven't done the research, but because we only have 5 minutes, we're over the 5 minutes, but let's say that this was happening a lot, and it was costing on average a newcomer business, $1 million in uncertified debt, or 80% of newcomer businesses are swindled within the first year of their business by unscrupulous suppliers who don't deliver their services. Well, what I do is I help newcomer businesses is it just from one country, or is it from every country? Like, do you do that as a...
I mean, I have been dealing with mostly with Turkish people who come from Turkey, but along the way, I've been introduced to Lebanese people, to Iranian people, throughout my clientele that I have been...
Perfect. So really, you could say for businesses that are porting from, immigrant business owners who are porting their businesses, you help them connect them to a trusted supplier network.
Exactly.
And help set their business up 50% faster than if they were doing it on their own.
Definitely. It's a hassle-free time, saves them lots of time, obviously. And that builds their trust in me too. So I don't have to go back to them for each time. For every business, they come to me.
Right, exactly. So the whole strategy of business that I do is we pick one area to specialize in and get known about and be Googled for and to pump out content for. And if you're saying that happens a lot and it's very profitable for you and it's a very expensive problem, then as a business strategy, what I would recommend is that you focus on that and all your content be about that. You have a sub-brand about it. And in fact, your elevator pitch is exactly what I said, which starts talking about their exact pain and what you do to help that pain, rather than all of the realty stuff is like, nobody cares that you've been there for 16 years. Nobody cares that you were a teacher. Like, I care that you're my friend. You're my first friend in Toronto. But do you see how that's the shift? That's the polish.
Yeah, you're right.
Does that help at all?
That helps. Yeah, definitely it helps. So I should start my introduction with asking questions. Are you in like in depth for a big, like something like that? Like, are you looking for setting up a business in Toronto?
Well,
or
I don't think you should.
Should I be?
Yeah. So in my world, you should never be networking with people who aren't your prospect. You should be always in 70% concentration of businessmen who are moving to Canada. And there are ways to do that. You can, liaise with chambers. You can actually work with other vendors who help, that transition. So then you don't have to ask them, because they are a businessman. They're there for, attending that event because they're a businessman porting their business. And then when they ask you, what is it that you do, Ellie? Then that's all you say. You don't say, I'm a realtor. You say, did you know? You don't have to ask them anything. You say, did you know? I mean, that's the question. It's hypothetical. That 80% of guys are swindled within the first year, and it takes you over a year to set up on your own, and you lose money because, people swindle you. What I do is I hook you up with all the right networks, get you set up, and you're into profitability way faster in a new country. That's how you introduce yourself. You're always with people who need you for that problem. And then they cross buy everything from you. They can buy their home, then their cousin buys their home. But
yeah, exactly.
Your marketing and your networking has to be strategic. And I know you network like crazy, but if you're networking just around those businessmen, then your business is going to grow. Because if you're making a lot of money from that one side of the business, then that's going to grow profitability. And then they're going to, that's the hook. I think that's the hook, if that is true. And we haven't researched it, but does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's what I have been trying to get myself heard when I visit Turkey. That I like to, go to meetings with Rotary clubs and Masonic groups and lodges and different business clubs to introduce myself and my business and try to see if I can be any help to those who are looking into coming into Canada.
Yeah, I mean, that's great, but if you worked with me, we would go way harder at that. We would be all over that with your marketing message, your social media presence, your events that you're doing, the networking that you do. It would be very targeted, Elvan. So it would be all about that. And then it's so much less about being a realtor, because there are a million realtors. I mean, and there's stats around how most of them only one house a year. Like, you have found a differentiator. If it's a legitimate one, and we would do the research to find out what the profitability is, what the number of transactions you can do per year are, whether it makes sense for you to niche in that would be your niche, and that would take you way higher, way faster. But I'm going to have to let you go, because this is supposed to be a 5-minute interview.
Time is up.
So thank you. I hope that was helpful.
It was, definitely. Every time I get to learn something from you. Thank you, Chala.
Thank you. All the best.
The best.